Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Grace Costa, a commercial photographer of over 2 decades, a photo-based artist and a photography mentor. This podcast opens up a secret diary about the world of the photography industry. We'll bring you inspiring interviews with industry professionals, as well as stories and tips to help you propel through your photography journey, whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro. Thanks for joining me today. Now let's open the latest diary. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining me on the Photo Diaries podcast. I hope you have been enjoying the series so far. And today we've got another special guest, my buddy Paul Osta. He's a wedding photographer in Melbourne. So we are here to learn all about the way he runs his business today, and love to welcome Paul. Nice to see you, Paul.
Hey, Grace. Nice to see you.
Thanks for joining me. I have to say, I've been following your work for quite some time on Instagram, and I love the consistent quality of your work. Like everything you're showing me on your feed and your stories, you're just always impressing me with the level of expertise. You're trying different techniques. All your pictures have your style, but they all look unique to that couple, that wedding couple. So I just want to say compliments to you. Your work is gorgeous. So I want to know behind the scenes of how you run your business.
Yeah, let's get into it. First of all, thank you for all that. You caught me off guard there.
So did you train as a photographer or are you self-taught?
Self-taught as a photographer. I trained as a video producer and an editor. Yeah, so some of the skills are very similar in terms of framing and cropping and storytelling, but it was designed to shoot in film format and make, mini documentaries and mini films and corporate videos and things like that. And I did that for a few years, loved it, loved the editing side of things. I do love my editing side of things. And then, a few years later, I was at a job and they needed someone to switch over into photography. I'm a second generation photographer. So my dad was a photographer. He had a studio, specialized in portraits and journalistic stuff. So he wasn't a wedding photographer. Then my older brother took over the business and became portraits and wedding photographer. And then, so I grew up as a kid in my dad's dark room, back in the early 80s. I remember just being, in the dark room with the red light and playing with chemicals and paper and stuff while he's developing, because he wouldn't want to leave me outside. So getting high on the fumes and just touching and playing with things. But that's what I grew up knowing. So I just always self-taught photography, and then I got into video and editing, and I really got into editing. So editing was my number one. But then, one day I just did the switch over to photography through one of my gigs. And then I thought, okay, I'll stick to this now. I was sort of burnt out with videos, and I did wedding videos and they really burnt me out. They were long, long hours. And I did them in my young teens and like early 20s. And I looked at photography as a bit of an escape. It's like, slightly less hours.
Yeah.
Similar outcome. I knew it would be harder because there was a lot more responsibility. But I took on that challenge and haven't looked back.
So did you find your clients because you were already doing video for weddings and you were kind of in that world anyway, so clients came easy to you? Or did you have to really set up your business as a new wedding photographer and source new clients?
No, I had to start brand new because I only started this not that long ago. So when I already did the switch, I was working for different companies. I was working for corporate companies, which they hired me to do a whole lot of videos. So it was like commission work. And then they wanted some photography done. Then I just switched. So it's almost like switched over jobs within that company. And so I finished all my video production work. But instead of leaving and finding a different job, they said, we need some photography done. Then I switched over to photography. Then, after that, I got a job in the Cook Islands where I went there and worked for resorts. And same thing, they wanted a resort photographer to create new marketing and lifestyle and events and wedding photography as well. So I was more, it wasn't my own business. It was more like a corporate. I was just so I had a 3-year contract there to do, came back. and then worked here, ended up working for E15 Photography, which was a studio for about 8 years. And that's where I got my real bread and butter of learning and, attending more seminars. And so then it's only through COVID that I had to start Paul Osta Photography. So it's been a while since my old video clients. Yeah. So to be honest, it's almost like from scratch.
Yeah.
Finding new clients. And yeah, what I'm trying to do at this stage in my career, because I have been doing it for 20 years. So I don't really, I've been trying to become more of a boutique studio, just have a niche clientele, have the clientele. So that what you mentioned in your opening is that all my work looks sort of consistent and beautiful and similar. And that's what I kind of want. I don't want to just be out there just, freelancing and just shooting any inquiry at any wedding that comes through. So trying to home it in more and just find my clientele, find my people, and just sort of be super happy, energetic to go to the wedding, because I'm looking forward to it. Like, believe it or not, I look forward to every one of my weddings. Like, even after all these years, now, because it's not a wedding, it's the couple. I'm looking forward for the couple. I'm looking forward to capture their story, because now I know them so much better. So there's a lot of things that I didn't know in the past. And when I was young and I was doing video, it was just pretty much a gig. You show up, you shoot, and didn't know much about anything. Didn't enjoy it as much. But now, getting to know my couple is key.
Well, I can tell that you love parties, because the wedding couples you photograph and work for, I just look at the parties and I go, my God, Paul, you go to the best parties, and they're very extravagant, I must admit. From an outsider's point of view, I think, holy moly, they've spent a lot of money. They party hard. There's always like somebody on someone's shoulders and you're capturing that. I just think you're in such a positive energy in these wedding events, right? And I can see how you could easily get addicted to looking forward to going, because it's always good, positive, loving energy.
Correct. Yes, that's exactly. You're capturing, it's probably one of the most amazing, the best day of their life so far to date. And you've been trusted to capture that and document it. So it's an honor in a way. And it's just, it's probably one of the best forms of photography in terms of that kind of vibe, and just having those happy thoughts and just happy people being around them, and just help them even get more happy and creative, and just by having the number one suppliers, from just everyone team bride and groom, or bride and bride, or groom and groom. Like, if we're all on the right team, then they will have an amazing day, which when it comes to party time, they will just have the best party. If a small chain along the day that breaks down, one bad supplier, it could be from anything, from a celebrant to a florist to a makeup to hair to photographer to a videographer. One bad, chain, like we're as good as the weakest link. And if we have one bad link, then they're probably, you'll see that. But no, so all the weddings, touch wood, that I've been on, and they've been good. They've just had good suppliers, good bunch of people. And sometimes, it helps, because as a photographer, you control the timeline of the day, you control the day, you help the bride and groom set all these things. Like, I don't know, probably, like the hair and makeup rely on us. Sometimes videographers rely on our timelines. The only thing set is the ceremony and the reception times. Everything else is up in the air. So it's up to the photographers to help a couple to get the right timeline. And once you have the right timelines, then everyone's getting the job done without rushing, and then everyone's having awesome, good time. I know a lot of studios that don't like to set timelines, or don't like to go into it, because it is time consuming, and they try and go with the flow a bit more. But that's where you leave a lot of room for errors.
Yeah, that's right. And you're risking not getting the shots that the couple wish that they had, or have on their wish list, sorry. And there's just too much room for error if there's not a strategy and a tight timeline plan in place.
Yeah. And, the couples I attract are those, those fun, adventurous couples. So So having that, then you see that in the fun images, because it's the type of couple that are like, non-traditional, or it's funny. Sometimes I get traditional families or couples from traditional backgrounds, but they slightly they want my style. They want to break away from that tradition. Then it just all comes together. And it helps if couples appreciate art as well. So they don't see it as just photography of the day. They realize that it's a craft, you're an artist. I have couples that, they trust you so much, and they just say to you, you know what, whatever you want, wherever we go, whatever you do, you tell us, even on the day if things change. And when I explain and talk to them and they know all that, then they just put their 100% their trust in you. So that's, you trust the artist. You hire someone to do their job, and you trust that it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
There's someone currently going around, like, the same day artists, they actually go out and they paint, a portrait from your day. And you saw them on my link. Oh my God, what's this? And I said, yeah, there's a handful, doing it. This lady that I was watching over her shoulder, she just started, and the painting was like, she just had all these pink colors on it. And I'm like, oh God, we're in a winery. It's just all greens and brown. Like, where did the pink come from?
Yeah.
But and she goes, well, you're gonna trust me to see the fun? I said, yeah, I know, and it's gonna look amazing. But I don't know why would the base of the painting be pink, and I don't know. And the painting finished, and it looks the most amazing. It's probably one of the best ones I've seen. Wow. She had a scene of about 14 people in it, because the couple, they had kids and dogs and previous marriages and grandparents and things. So, and friends that flew in from New Zealand. And so there was like a wedding portrait of about 12 adults. So it was very hard to do. And yeah, I was blown away how good it was. But that's the thing, you got to trust the artist, and couples do that. So, you know what, Paul, you call it whatever you want, we'll trust you, and then we'll go from there.
So Paul was talking about an on-site live artist painting a scene from your wedding. This is something I've never seen before. Paul, you're probably seeing it a few times this year, but it's an extra service that adds a little special touch to the wedding day.
It does. Just being a canvas, being an oil painting. It's amazing, and I
love it.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it goes. Yeah, it's something to have forever. It does look amazing. It's very hard to do. I've heard that 3 people in all of Victoria that do it. So it's not cheap. It's not cheap, but yeah, I don't know. Now looking back, it's something I like. Oh, I wish if I had something like that done. Like it's a
beautiful keepsake.
It's an awesome keepsake. Yes.
Yeah, you would see some really interesting concepts coming into weddings nowadays. Like, as we're in 2023, you've been photographing weddings for a while now, you would see the evolution of, now we're doing birds as a release, and we're doing butterflies, and now we're doing paintings as a keepsake, and now we're doing clowns. And you probably see an evolution of all these new fandangle sort of add-ons to adding the experience to the wedding day.
Yes, yeah, it's so many different evolutions. Now it's the party scene. I think this last couple of years, just champagne popping and spraying, and these gas cannons that just blow smoke all over your your guests, and out of these smoke guns and just confetti cannons, and
wow.
Yeah, all sorts of party tricks. Walking into drummers, traditional like sort of Lebanese drummers, they do it well in Melbourne and Sydney. That you walk in and there's about 10, 12 drummers in front of you, all to the right beat, and just dancing around you and top and under. It's just such a line dances. There's a lot of that's going on now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I just did a line dance about 3 weeks ago at a wedding, which was just another amazing. Yeah,
people are really stepping it up and making their event an experience for their guests, I guess.
Correct.
And give you something to photograph,
Yep. I'm not complaining at all, because yes, it does. It just gives a lot more content. But it's more fun as well.
So who helps you run your business, say from the back end and at the shoot as well? Like, do you have an assistant helping you carry your equipment? Do you have a virtual assistant doing your administration? Who works with you?
Yeah, my initial answer to that question was that I'm solo, because I thought about it. I'm just solo. I'm by myself all day long. But then I had a really good think about it. And no, in a way, I'm not solo. So number one probably on that list is my support at home, like wife and kids. Like I think even little things, but if my wife doesn't get those little things organized and prepped and ready in the background, I can't do the job that I do now, even though they might not be directly related to the weddings, but to help me on the day, just having all my energy snacks ready, all my drinks, all my, little things, which I'll probably forget. I'm so, damn, so I got to go get my V's this morning. I got to get some banana. I got to get this, and just have it already stocked up, ready, prepared, and sometimes when you have 2-3 weddings in a row, having less things on your mind is the best thing to have. So not sweat the little things and just be ready for the day. So yeah, having that number one support is amazing. So having my wife, even though she's not doing business side of things, she's without her, the business won't run. I'll probably just crumble and just not eat enough and not do enough and be late and yeah. So all those little things. But the other 2 people involved is my assistant. So I do have two assistants, 2 regular assistants that come with me on the wedding day, which is one of my all-time number one is another Grace, Grace Lee. So she helps me probably on 80% of my weddings. And my nephew Pierre, he's also sort of into photography. He's a young guy. He helps me on those smaller jobs or the jobs that Grace can't do. But they're both awesome. Sometimes I have them, even if couples didn't book an assistant or didn't book a second photographer, I still pay them to come with me on most days. It's good to have them just as a moral support, as just a bit of help. They end up helping the bride a bit to, the dress work and just being there, just chatting and just, keeping everyone sort of in check, keeping me in check, looking after the time.
Yes.
Because I can get carried away, trying to aim and trying to get that best shot, trying to get that final shot. It's like one more shot, So just having someone, checking.
Paul. We should have left the church by now.
Yeah. So they are good. It's good to have that support team on the actual wedding day. And pretty much I do everything else. The only other person he happens to be my older brother, Sal. He's actually a Lightroom sort of guru. So he's an image editor. And he works for different studios as a freelancer. So he does my editing. So he converts my raw or he doesn't convert them, but he takes my raw files and just sort of preps them up in white balance, contrast, all that, and then hands them back over to me. So that for me is probably, it's a time consuming. It takes a few hours, and I could be particular in getting my white balances, and it can drive me crazy. So that is the one part that I find that it frustrates me. So I thought, okay, so that's the part I'm going to pay someone to do it for me. So I pay him, he preps it all up, gets the white balance, all, schmick, gets it back to me. Then I apply all my sort of light shaping and vignettings and just different light sourcing, and just works on my look just to have it the way I want to have it. So he doesn't do any of that. He just a straightforward, really clean edits, do my cropping, and then I'm ready to start outputting to JPEGs and social media.
And do you do all your selections, or does he tick and flick everything?
So I proof, I do everything. I just give him the catalog with my proofs. And yeah, he does all my sort of Lightrooming, as in terms of just editing the images, applying the curves.
Yeah.
So we have a look that we worked on together. So he just applies that, but his main one is white balance. That's what I need. I just need, I shoot everything in RAW. I shoot everyone in a sunny white balance. So I don't bother changing anything on the back of the camera.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. That's one thing I don't have to even worry about. I just shoot it. I trust the system. I know that being a raw file, we can work it and do whatever we need to do with it. So my aim is to get my exposure correct.
And you're doing that manually, or are you aperture priority, shutter priority, or full manual?
Full manual. Yeah, full manual. Yeah, always done it like that. Always trained like that. It doesn't bother me. Fixed
lens or zoom lenses?
Fixed lenses as well. About 10 years ago, I made the switch. Actually, maybe a little bit less. Yeah, made the switch from zoom lenses to fixed. I don't look back now. I don't regret it. It was hard that first few weddings. It was hard mentally, just understanding, can I cover all this?
Yeah.
But then you realize, it is. And it's all about capturing the emotion. And we get bogged up in the equipments and the lenses and, the croppings, but it's all about just capturing the right moment. So I'm more ready to capture the moment now, and just the lens is just the lens. But just knowing that it's a fast, sharp lens just helps me. I like the fact that most of my lenses are 1.4 or 1.8 aperture. So then, because I pretty much shoot around the f2 most of the wedding. Family shots, maybe I'll push it to 2.8 to 4.
So when you say family shots, let's just stop there, because a lot of my students have trouble photographing groups. So are you saying you'll photograph your family shots / group families at f2?
2.8 to f4. So it depends on how many is in the line. But keep in mind, I've got my good assistants with me, and this is where they come handy. So Grace will make sure, especially when I have Grace with me, that everyone is lined up to the dot in like a straight line. So their toes, their noses, it's not a curved line, because most times when they stand, there's a curve, and their curve's about sometimes up to half a meter difference when you have got a big group. And yes, if you do that at f2.8, half of them are going to be out of focus.
Yeah.
So having a good straight line will help. If the bride and groom in focus, then everyone else is going to be in focus.
Yes.
And sometimes I push it to f4. Like, it's not an issue, f4, but I've never shot more than f4. I don't feel the need, because, like I said, I take that back. In the big group shot, sometimes when you come out of the ceremony and they want a shot of 100 people, and you go up like on a small ladder or a chair or something, look down, and there's a row of people then I'd push it to f8 probably. There's only so much. It's a wide angle shot anyway on a 20mm lens. As long as the bride and groom, the first, and their families in focus. Yes. Eventually, the back of the group is going to drop out of focus. It doesn't matter what you do. If you shoot at f20, they're still going to be out of focus eventually. And you got to realize with weddings, the biggest family shot's going to be printed as an 8-inch print. Yeah. That's the biggest size, really. Who's going to print a family shot more than that? So that's true. So that's what I also keep in mind, that you got to do things for what it's meant to be, or what it's going to be, or what the outcome of that image is going to be. As long as it's clean, it's sharp, it's good light. And I personally love having that soft background. Yeah, that's the look you want. Yeah. That's the look that I go for. So yeah, that's good to cover that, because I know some photographers will be thinking, well, hold on, won't everyone be out of focus? So that's a good one to cover. Just make sure, being a fixed lens, I do have a pyramid that I use to check my lenses. I check them twice a year, and I adjust them. So with the Nikon, you can adjust. Being fixed lenses, you can adjust the plus and minus to make sure your sharpness is 100%. So I do have that and I test all my lenses twice a year on all my cameras. So I've got 3 different bodies, and sometimes the 50mm ends up on one body, and the next day it can end up on a second body. Yeah. So I make sure that everybody is focus corrected with every lens that I have. So it's a bit of a process, and it takes me a couple of hours to do. That's why I only do it, twice a year. Yeah. But I'll find it that twice a year is enough. I just use it sort of before the busy season. So I might do it, in the new year. Then I'll do it sort of end of August in the quiet season, when we're ready to start the busy season. And then I do it in January or Feb before like the March madness. So how many weddings would you do a month? Like, are you doing every weekend and one shoot every weekend of the month, or are you doing back to back, as in, or does weddings even fit like that? Is there a morning wedding and an afternoon wedding? Is that possible? I don't shoot that many weddings. So I am a boutique studio. So my aim is to shoot, 30, 35 weddings a year max. Okay. Yep. But saying that, you've got March, where I end up probably shooting 8 to 10 weddings just in March. Yeah. And then I might shoot nothing in June, July, August. I've got a 3 months where I'll end up going, on my snow trips and to the Cook Islands back and stuff like that. So, and do a little bit of corporate shots in between and website stuff. And yeah, but so weddings end up, there's October this coming year, the year we're in, October is busy as November seems to be quiet, which is traditionally November is busy.
Right.
So it's funny. It's just weddings, like some weekends you end up with 2, 3, sometimes 10 inquiries and you can only book 2 of them. And then the weekend after you end up with nothing.
Yeah, right.
So there's no, yeah, so that's why I don't put an overall limit per month. So yes, I know in March and in November, October, I could be working flat out. And yeah, you might see all my stories, like just this weekend, I shot 3 weddings. Next weekend, 2 weddings, the weekend after 2 weddings. So, but then come May, I only have 1 wedding in May.
Interesting.
I've got a corporate flat lay gig, and I'm planning a trip to the Cook Island to do some commercial work for the resorts. So it all works out good. I did get a couple of other inquiries for smallish type weddings in mid-May, and I passed them on because I knew May is quiet, and I wanted it to stay quiet so I can do my other projects. And the weddings weren't sort of 100%, big weddings that I'd like to do. So they were just a smallish wedding. So then I knew I needed the time. So I passed them on. So yeah, you don't want to book. Not every wedding. You shouldn't book every wedding either. Like sometimes if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be kind of thing.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, do you, in that case, so say if you have a quiet period like you're experiencing in the future, and how do you plan for that financially?
Very hard. Very hard. So yeah, I'm a good saver. So you got to save on your busy month, because you have that there's quiet month coming up. So and I'm not a single income. So I've got my wife who brings in income. So we kind of planned for that. I know there's going to be quiet months because I've been doing it for so many years. Then I know I'm going to make a lot of money in the busy month.
Yeah.
So I personally don't over stress about it. I just let it be, and and at the end of the day, if I get really, really stuck, then I can go out and do a little bit of freelance work. There's a lot of studios that are always looking for freelance work. Because I have the experience, I can just put my hands up and get 2, 3 freelance jobs just like that. And then that will pay my bills. And they could be last minute. I could put my hand up and next weekend, get in a freelance job. So there's always that you can always fall back on.
Yeah.
Once you've got good experience.
That's good to know. Yeah. So what sort of systems do you use to run a smooth wedding photography studio? Such as, do you use Studio Ninja or a client management software? What sort of systems are you using?
Yeah, I think, the photo editing softwares are, they're a must. You need, for me, I've always, you have your Lightroom and you have your Photoshop. You need to download, edit your RAWs, then you need to Photoshop your images. So that's sort of a given. They're like your camera and lenses. You can't go without them.
Yeah.
A lot of the other stuff, like your CRM software, let's say your client management software, some people still use, spreadsheets and this and that. So there's ways around it. But for me, that was the biggest headache, is I started this and I'm like, how do I keep track? Who's coming in, who's coming out, inquiries, who I've returned, who I haven't replied, who I've followed up, who this and who booked, who paid, that for me, that was my challenge in the business. So that was my biggest challenge. So I jumped onto Studio Ninja. I tested a couple of different products, but I ended up going with Studio Ninja. So, and honestly, without Studio Ninja, I've already recommended it to like 3 or 4 other photographers. They're using it. I
started using it this month.
Oh my God. That's awesome. As you would know, it's amazing. It's just powerful. It's powerful. It does what wedding photographers, I suppose it works for many things in the wedding, the photographers, videographers, even hair and makeup, if you're running a busy business, or a celebrant, if you just want to keep things automated and quick. It's not that expensive, like for its cost. It's just I have a close friend that still uses Excel, and I'm like, oh my God, how do you have 80, he shoots about 50 to 60 weddings a year, but sometimes you have future bookings as well. So on any stage, you've got about 100 weddings in there, and they're all on a spreadsheet, and you're trying to work out who did what and who paid and who this and who that. Yeah, that would just drive me insane.
Agreed.
But somehow he's managing it. But yeah, I'm sure he could probably save, I don't know, 100 hours a month if he did it on Studio Ninja. So yeah, it's one of those things. I think without Studio Ninja, I can't live without Studio Ninja. The other softwares I use are PicTime. So PicTime is my online web gallery. So that's how I upload, deliver all my images to couples, slideshows, and through that, it's connected to my print lab, which is Atkins in South Australia. So couples can also order their own prints, frames, canvas directly from the website, from PicTime. The order goes to Atkins. Atkins does it, delivers to them. I get paid, they get paid. It's all, so it's all like one seamless. And through that, I use Stripe as a credit card facility because I don't, being a small business, I don't have to have a credit card terminal. So you just use Stripe and you connect Stripe to that. I've also got Stripe connected to Studio Ninja. So couples who do want to pay credit card for their deposits, it goes through Stripe, Studio Ninja. So same thing, it's also seamless. The other softwares I would use is Fundy, which I use to design my wedding albums.
Okay.
So you need an album design software. It's much faster than, Photoshop templates or InDesign or any things like that. So Fundy is designed just for albums. So you put your album company, you put your album shape and size. There's already pre-built templates. I quickly built my own and I just sort of reuse and recycle my own templates.
Yeah.
But it's just so quick.
So how come you don't outsource the design aspect for the albums? Do you just find you've got the time and you make the time to do the design yourself?
Yeah, I enjoy designing the albums, believe it or not, and I'm really quick at it. So it doesn't take me that long. It doesn't frustrate me. I know a lot of I do have an advantage. I worked, that's how we met. I worked for 3 years for Albums Australia at the time, which were album manufacturers. So my job role was to teach photographers how to design, how to album, how to order, and I attend a lot of seminars. I actually made webinars for them. So so I do have that advantage that so for me, designing an album takes me an hour or two. It's quick, it's personal. So it's not just a matter of putting images together. I like to do it. I like to tell a story. Couples seem to connect to it too. And because, even when I worked for other studios, I used to design my albums and other photographers' albums too. But I found that it was better designing my album because I knew the story inside out of the day. And I put images that are very, just personal, because I knew the story. I knew even, in speech photos, like sometimes you do a page of speeches or 2 pages and couples keep them in, and others like, why did they're just photos of people with microphones. I'm like, no, I don't even put photos of the people with the microphones. I'm putting photos of people's reactions when people with the microphones were speaking. And believe it or not, couples remember and they can tell. I just had an album plan yesterday, and one of them they were talking about the best man and how he was looking, and they remember the speech. They remember how funny and how he was picking on the groom, but from one frame. Like that one frame tells a lot. So when you capture the right frame for speeches,
and if somebody else was putting that design together, they would have forgone that image and thought it was, not
a weird
required.
image. Yeah. And because in that shot, the best man is almost like rolling his eyes up and he's weirdly looking and he's pointing. And so you wouldn't have even used that. But they're like, oh, I remember that he was just, roasting you and he was doing this thing and he was actually imitating something that the groom did, So that perfect moment, it resonated with the bride and groom, and they were like, that's it, we keep, don't take that image out. Like, it's one of those things. Yes. So I find that if I put the effort to design my own albums, and like I said, it's not a chore for me, white balancing 1,000 images to make sure they're perfect, for me, that's a chore, and that's why I outsource that. So I think you need to outsource something. You have to find something that you least enjoy doing and then outsource that.
I agree.
So album design, no, I love doing it. I love shooting for the album, so I shoot for the album, design it. So yeah, it goes really, really quick.
And with a delivery, the end result, the delivery for the wedding couple, is there something, what we call in the industry, a surprise and delight? Do you give them something extra when you're delivering their final album?
Yes. So I usually the initial delivery surprise is before the album, because the album is something then we have to design together. Then I have to get it retouched, hand built. I use handmade albums, so they take a bit more time. So that's a lengthy process, which could be anywhere from 2 to 4 months after your wedding. So I want the surprise to be a little bit quicker. So I do their sneak peek preps for their Instagram and social media within 24 hours. So that's the first surprise. Like I tell them, I'll get you a couple of prints, a couple of photos, to put on your socials, and they're so excited. But they don't know is that I actually build them in actual gallery, and I upload close to 100 retouched photos within 24 hours. So then they open up thinking they're getting, a photo or two so they can put up and say, hey, we're married. They open it up and they have almost the whole story of the day in a mini version, 10% of it. So that's the first online surprise that they get. And usually the first SMS or email back is like, oh my God, this is amazing. When did you do this? You must have been up all night and all these things. So, we're on Zoom, probably, the listeners are not on Zoom, they're listening to this, but you can see 2 bottles of wine behind me. I just haven't put them away. They were from a guest that one of my couple that shot 2 weeks ago. They came to pick up a couple of things before they go off to New Zealand, and they bought me, 2 bottles of thank you, just because I got them so many images before they even, the day after the wedding, because they left to New Zealand on Wednesday. The wedding was Saturday. But they had already had, 100 images in their inbox, already set up in an online gallery. So not just even, And being an online gallery is so much easier, and it looks amazing rather than just the Dropbox or anything like that.
Looks professional. They can flick through. They can hit slideshow and watch it with music. They can share it with their friends and family.
And then the other thing I do is about 3-4 weeks later, when I get together with them to deliver the final images, is all those sneak peeks, which up to 100 usually I prepare. I get them all printed on art paper. And then packaged in a nice linen box with handmade, hand-dyed silk ribbons and all that as well. I've tied them up, having in nice boxes, and I just give them that as a surprise. So
wow!
So that's the kicker, and which they're not expecting, and they actually see the images printed on beautiful art paper, which is like they're not expecting. They've never seen even that. Some of them probably only printed on normal photographic paper and probably at outlets, so they've never seen real professional level print, and not on art paper on a matte
so that's
finish.
Not even part of their package.
No, so I've inbuilt it. They don't know that I've inbuilt it. So I don't show it to them before. They don't know, because I also don't, it's my favorite image. It's my pick of the day. So I shoot on average, let's say 1,000. I deliver 1,000 images per wedding on average. So I end up printing anywhere between 50, at least 50, and up to 100 images in that box. It depends on the day.
Wish you were my photographer, Paul.
Yeah, well, we tried to be. I tried to. Remember?
No, I don't remember.
You tried to get me to do your wedding, but something happened. I was where I couldn't do it.
You didn't want to come to Canberra?
No.
I totally forgot that I asked you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, you're shocking.
Where were we?
Gear. Softwares.
Surprising and delight.
Social media, online gallery within 24 hours, and then up to 100 images, and then get all those printed on nice art paper, get them packaged in a handmade linen box. It's got my logo on it, but then the prints, I sort of get these silk ribbons from online, from Etsy and other bits and pieces, but they're beautiful, like handmade and hand-dyed, silk ribbon. And I've got different colors, so I match. It's funny, I go as far as I match the box to the house interiors and to the colors of the day. So I make like burnt orange, cream linen, black, dark blue. So I've got all these different linens.
Yeah, they would appreciate that.
Yeah, and I put my favorite photo on top, have it all done. So when they open, They see the ribbon, they open it up, they see my favorite photo, and then
Gorgeous. And that adds to the experience for them. You know, their experience with you starts from when they first meet you and continues right through to delivery, and you're always engaging with them and surprising them and bringing them a beautiful, memorable experience.
That's right. Yeah, just giving them an experience rather than just, here, I'm your photographer, I'll take some shots, deliver them, and that's it. So just giving them an experience. Everyone wants to have an experience, no matter what it is. Could be from a cup of coffee. You know, have the right experience, you'll enjoy it more.
Exactly. I used to be a wedding photographer when I first started my career 20 years ago. And I was a shoot and burn. I was, you know, keep it simple, keep it easy for myself. I didn't want to go to too much extra work. I think I printed for a few couples, but people who are really into doing wedding photography as a business, and for me, it was just like a side little thing. You can really take it to the next level. You can make yourself memorable, and that's why you keep getting booked, because, you know, people talk about you, they share the experience, and you get great reviews.
You get the reviews, and you get the referrals. Touch wood, all my Google reviews are 5 stars, so that's good. That helps. Yes. And like a couple of weeks ago, one of the weddings I did, it was the 5th one in as many as like 3 years in the same group of friends.
Wow.
So having that is also something. I did another one which was 3rd wedding, but the other 2, there was 2 more inquiries from that same, but I was already booked for both of them, which I couldn't do. And now there's the bride's sister getting married, but in England, and she's even considering, you know, flying me over to England to do the wedding. Just as like, she's like, everyone just talks about it. Where's this, you know, and she's like, maybe I should have you. And, oh, what's wrong with that? Where's your wedding? Oh, in England. I'm like, well, that we can work out something around that, you know, as long as it's down in the quiet season of, you know, Victoria weddings, Melbourne weddings. I can make it work for you. So
fab.
So yeah, so there's that. So it becomes that, oh, everyone's just, you know, everyone's getting put in. What I love is that I produce different images. So the friendship groups knows like, oh, it's the same thing, the same style. So
yeah, it feels customized to them.
Correct. And, you know, we can touch on that a little bit about keeping, so it's like how to keep it fresh, keep new ideas. And my number one is just getting to know the couple, because I can shoot 3 weddings from a similar background at the same venue and have 3 different outcomes, because really I'm shooting for their individual personalities. So the more you know about the couple, the better. And when I first started, I did not know that. So I used to sit with them for the album wedding confirmation, have a sheet. It's like, okay, what's your name? What's your addresses? Are these the correct phone numbers? This is it. I'll be there this time, that time. Any other questions? Done. You know, that's it. I never got lost. I always had the right contact numbers, etc., but I never captured their personalities.
Right.
So now I catch up with them for an hour, hour and a half. Sometimes we go on for 2 hours, and all I talk about is their personality. Sometimes they leave. It's like, oh, I didn't check if the addresses are correct. Like, oh, I don't even have the groom's address here. And I'm like, you know what? Those things can be fixed over an email.
Yes.
But knowing their personality can't be fixed over an email.
That's so true.
Yeah. So the album I'm doing tonight, I've got an album plan. Peter and Penny, when they first came, you know, Pete's from Adelaide, Penny's from here. They're just Italian Greek wedding, mixed cultures, both very family orientated. We were talking for almost 2 hours. And this was an appointment that we did at home that night. My wife's like, what do you talk about for 2 hours? I'm like, there was so much to know about these 2 guys. They were amazing. You know, they had a lot of stuff, a lot of things going in their lives. It was a very emotional wedding because between that time and the wedding, Pete ended up losing his mum. And back when we had that meeting, it was very important to capture a lot of the mum, because the mum was already not, feeling well, and she was on that journey, which they thought she's not going to live for too long. So then we talked a lot about how to make that special and everything. So unfortunately, but I got to know, like on the day, it was just like being part of their families, you know, even though it was such a big wedding, like with about 300 people, and
wow,
they're a lovely couple. And but just getting to know them was more important, and capturing, you know, just some of those right images that meant so much for him.
Mm.
And, that's the number one, is just get to know personalities, get to know your couple, talk to them as much as you can, and not about timings and addresses and all that. That could all be through Studio Ninja now. I've got my form. I just send it to them, auto email. Guys, complete the details. I know that they're there. So, so sometimes I show up to this meeting and we have an hour and they're like, oh, we didn't even look at the form if it's correct. And I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I can do that.
Yes.
So getting to know them is for me now. I wish if I knew that 20 years ago. I would have been capturing just so much better and more, and for the last 20 years rather than just for the last 8 years.
Yes.
So that's number one. Number two, if I it's like a game that I play with myself, that if I ever go to the same venue, let's say, Parliament House at the moment in Melbourne is looking good. They've renovated it, they've cleaned it up, fresh paint, so it's actually looking really, really good. So a lot of couples, it's like revitalized. So now every couple almost want to go to the Parliament House. So instead of going, yep, easy, I know what to do there, bang, 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 go in. My aim is, even though I've been there for like 10 times in the last probably 6 months, is try and get a different shot that I've never shot there before. So when I'm standing there and I'm waiting for couples to arrive, I'm always there and I'm like, okay, I've done this. What am I going to do today with this couple that I've never done? And then I start walking around. I look at angles. I look at things. I will try this today. I'll try something else. So that's a game that I just play with myself. So then I'm not sort of content. It's like, I already know Parliament. I've been here so many times. I'll just show up. I'll put them in front of the door, get a few shots there, turn it out, shoot with the columns, do the stairs, and we're done.
Yes.
And yes, sometimes I do those safety shots, which couples love. That's why they want to go to Parliament because of the doors and the columns. So there's no point not getting those shots. But just for me, I always get something extra. And so that's a little game that I sort of just play along, just to make sure that I'm really fresh. Just other than that, is don't be afraid of scouting. Like, sometimes I used to think, oh, why do they want me to scout? Like I can just work it out on the day, which yes, you can in most instances, but scouting will to some extent help. And I know, like, we're busy at the moment, as almost I'm by myself running the business. I am flat out. So if couples ask me to scout, I'm like, oh my God, that's probably my worst, nightmare. But sometimes if I feel that I need to scout, I do go out and scout. And that recent wedding that I just did for the NZ couple, they really wanted a unique venue in Warrandyte. Yeah, so even though I live near Warrandyte, I've been there to the river so many times, done so many shoots, and I had 2 or 3 spots that could potentially work for them. When we worked out all the timings, we just did not have enough time to get all these 3 shots together in one place. So then it goes, okay, what if I find one place that can have all these looks? And I went around one morning and said, that's it, I'm biting the bullets. Went around, took an hour out of I just cleared it up, say scouting, dropped the kids off at school and off to Warrandyte nice and early, put my runners on, just walked around the river, and then before you know it, I found these caves, I found some rocks, I found these trees, and it was all in one place that can just park, walk to it. So 2 days before the wedding, got back to the bride room. I said, change of plans. That's it. I found you one spot, because we were trying to compromise, and they also needed to do a first look, to do all these things. And so you got to think on the fly sometimes if things change. So I found us, scouting that day really helped me. So, that's one example. Once, I remember when I was working back at E15 Photography, Janelle and I both got a booking to go shoot a wedding back in Vegas in America. So we did a lot of scouting online before we went, in terms of just going Google Maps, having a look at roads, having a look at sunrises, sunsets, a different part of the desert, different part of rocks. So we knew where to go, at what time to go. So that was, even though we're not there we were looking on Google, but we're still spending time researching so we don't end up at the wrong desert. But when we got there, we still hired a car the day before, drove out to those spots that are already penciled in with Janelle. So Janelle told me the looks that she wanted, and I, sort of trying to find the right light, within same thing, distance, driving, there was a couple of really amazing spots, but they were 2 hours away from there, from
Ah,
Vegas itself. So it was
yeah.
impossible to go and come back. So then we went to the rocks, we stopped, took a few photos just on our iPhones, just to say, yep, just to confirm, perfect. We'll do the road, we'll do the cactus, we'll do these trees, we'll go do the rocks on sunset as the sun. So we scouted that day, came back, and the next day on the wedding, we just felt we were a bit more relaxed because we already knew it, we'd been there. So that's an extreme circumstance, but yeah, so there is room for scout, and don't be afraid to scout. And
Yeah, preparing pays off. It makes you more calm on the day. You feel prepared, in control, because some questions have been answered for you.
Yeah, the other one is the schedule. Like I said, we touched it earlier that about schedules, and a lot of photographers don't really do too much into it. But I love to be ready and prepare the schedule for the couple. It's not minute to minute schedule, but just allowing for everything, for the drives, for sometimes if it's a Friday wedding, I will check that drive on that time of the day. Like 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had a wedding. It was near Albert Park, and the Grand Prix was on. So this was 2 weeks earlier. So we had to drive from Toorak to Albert Park. It's only 4-kilometer drive, but on a Friday afternoon at 4:30, when the ceremony finished, that 4 kilometers was almost like a 32-minute drive.
Oh,
so we had, if you just did it on Google in the morning, it would have said, oh, it's a 4-minute drive or 6-minute drive. Oh yeah, I'll put 6 minutes here. But no, It was a 30-something minute drive in the afternoon on a Friday when everyone's trying to finish work and leave Toorak, and you have everyone trying to get to Albert Park for, and there's trucks and they're setting up the track. And
oh my God, great tip.
So yeah, I look at the driving destinations. Sometimes I just add 5-10 minutes. So if I do it outside of traffic and I know it's not a heavily traffic area, I'll just add 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Just round it off. But in some instances, like if I have to, cross town at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. on a Friday morning to be at a groom's house, that is in Melbourne, that could take you anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour and a half,
Oh my gosh.
So I would do it in that similar time, that, a week earlier or something. It's like, okay, so we're looking at a 55-minute drive. Then I'll allow maybe an hour, hour and 10, because it could still, so being prepared, those are things that will help keep your ideas fresh, because you're not stressed that you ran out of time. Then you've got time to actually stop and think and look around you.
Yeah, more time for play as well when you arrive at the venue or the destination.
And just time to not rush straight into it. Like just actually, like sometimes you'd get there, you got 5 minutes and you start shooting, and these are the safe shots, and you stop and then you just turn around, you look up. Sometimes I'll look up and say, oh fuck, look at this tree, what's happening there? All right, let's do something here. Or you turn around and you realize there's something amazing just behind you, but because you were focused on the first thing you saw, you do it. Or sometimes we get to a garden and you just do what works. This is good. And then we'd be walking back to the car or taking another route, and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing here. But because you had no time, you didn't really explore that. But if you got there with a minute to spare, you could have quickly did a quick walk around and like, perfect. So same at houses. Like sometimes you walk into a house and, oh yeah, this room's perfect. Let's do the details here, do your portraits by the window. And then, we go back to the kitchen to do something. Like, oh my God, what have you got here? This looks amazing. So the first thing I do is I just say to the couple, let me walk around, because they might even prepare rooms. Say, oh, we think this is the best. Like, that's great, but let me walk around and just see what I see. So being prepared will help in those, keeping your ideas fresh, because then you've got time to be creative and not just focusing on the work, like focusing on being creative.
I love that. Very useful tip from Paul. As we wrap up, Paul, do you have any advice for photographers new to the wedding industry, like trying to build their business as a wedding photographer?
That's probably the easiest and hardest one, but probably the first one would be practice, like just practice and practice. I've shot hundreds now, probably creeping up to 1,000 wedding, and still, sometimes I still feel a bit stressed out. Like, oh, I haven't been in this situation before, or how should I handle this? I've only got this much time to do this. And then So there's always things that are going to get thrown at you. And yes, maybe 7 or 8 out of 10 weddings might just be your cookie cutter weddings, easy as everything's going smooth, but there'll always be that 1 or 2 that will just throw a spanner in the work. The more practice, then the more you can be prepared. And probably, till now, I still love to go and help other photographers or assist other photographers, but not particularly be a second shooter. Ideally, I'd love to go and just be there and just watch them and learn from them. Like just watch them. Like sometimes, that's why I said to just learn and observe, not just go and take photos. Like, so I'm not there to shoot their couple. I'm only there I'm interested in how they communicate with their couple, what they do, how they pose, how do they make them relax, or how to, just find a handful of photographers. Like, I follow a handful of photographers that I follow a few, but I sometimes unfollow a few as well that get on my nerve, and I don't think, they're just not doing. You just gotta find your tribe and find, and the ones that you kind of connect with, and you can learn something from them, and just watch them, observe and learn from them. And it has to be different genres too, so not just a wedding photographer. Like, if you get the opportunity to go out with a portrait photographer or even a head photographer, someone just do headshots for a commercial, just see what they do, how they approach, how they communicate, how they make their subject relax when you just show up with 4 lights and backdrop, and you get these people coming out because they got told by their CEO that they have to come out and get a photo, and they're like, oh, we don't like photos, what do we do? And then that photographer will be under pressure to try and make him relax within 30 seconds.
30 seconds, and they've got a professional headshot in less than 5 minutes. How do they do it?
So it's good to do that.
Love that tip.
So that's my tip, is that to go out and assist. Recently I got to go out with one of my friends photographer, Alex, from Motto Weddings, and he asked me to come out. His clients wanted a second shooter just for a couple of hours to get a specific shot. And he goes, man, I'd hate to do this, but if you're free, do you want to do it? I said, yeah, I'd love to do it. Are you kidding me? Like, he goes, they really want that. Literally, they wanted one particular shot. I said, no worries, I'll come, I'll cover it. If you want me to stay for the hour, whatever, too, I'll stay. He goes, no, just, you don't have to, but I ended up just staying for about an hour, just did the shot, and he asked me to go do a little bit of details of the room. I just did that for him. But then I just enjoyed just being there, just watching him, watching how he interacted, what he did, and it was a venue that I had been to, hundreds of times too. So it was interesting to see what he looked at, or what he photographed, or what he saw on the day.
Yeah, and how he used the room differently.
Yeah, my head is always like, what would so-and-so do? What would so-and-so do in this situation? So it's good to go out with different photographers, and not necessarily to work, make money, or second shoot. It's just more to learn and interact and learn from them.
I love that tip. Actually, you've inspired me. I'm going to do that. I got to shoot with another commercial photographer in Canberra. We photographed the Australian Opals basketball team at the Australian Institute of Sport this week, and just seeing how he worked, and we're just rambling on with each other, talking about equipment and who uses what, and just being with another photographer in his space with his client. I enjoyed that. So I would like to do that more often, and thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, it's a good one for our listeners to try as well, and even if it's not in the same genre, I think that's cool as well.
Yeah, correct. That's just so you get to, I don't know, just widen your net a little bit and just learn different things.
Exactly. Well, Paul, you gave us such a great chat today all about wedding photography, and I've learned so much from you. So even though I'm not a wedding photographer, I've always loved weddings, but seeing your work is really inspiring. You try different techniques all the time. So thank you so much for sharing your valuable knowledge and insights and expertise with our audience. How can people follow you?
Thank you for having me, first of all. Very easy. So I am under my own name, Paul Osta Photography. So on Instagram, it's paul.osta.photography. That's my main sort of social scene. I do have a Facebook, but I don't use that often. It's just, you have to do that to do some other commercials and linking things up and being on Instagram. Which is also Paul Osta Photography, and my website is Paul Osta Photography.
Awesome. Well, I'll link all those in the show notes so people can follow you and check out your work. Thanks, Paul. I will chat to you later.
Thank you.
Friends, don't forget to head to the show notes where you can find my photo comps mega list. Simply input your email address and the list is yours. Until next time, friends, I'll catch you on the next episode of the Photo Diaries podcast. That's it for today's episode. If you found it valuable, I invite you to leave a review so more people can find this podcast, or simply subscribe to be notified when each new episode drops. Until next time, see you later.